All right. Well, welcome to another edition of the Average Pastor Podcast. I'm Mark, and I'm here with some pastor friends. This is a different setting if you're not watching, most of you. I'm here with the usual Jeff Dodge, and we're missing our friend Jake this morning. Mm-hmm. But to fill in for Jake, we got a couple average pastors. Drake.
Yep.
What's up, Drake?
Excited to be here.
Drake.
It's a great morning for the fire porch.
That's right. So we got Drake.
Absent the fire.
Totally. Yeah.
Fire.
Porch is still nice.
Thanks.
We almost burned up Jeff last week. And we got Ryan Hamby. And so this is going to be a different podcast a little bit. Just the timing of this is very unique for us. And in a week, Ryan's going to hop in a car and head out west. And so this is really kind of a time for us to just reflect on what God has done and talk about the exciting future. And so I'm going to ask James to be a little more involved on the mic today, part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So
this is the Average Pastor After Hours crew reunited. Which
That's right.
Maybe we'll release that episode at some point. But
what was it? Tell us about the context of that one.
well, that was when we were at the lake, and we recorded those ones with Drew. But Drake was there, Ryan was there, and so we were like, "Hey, the podcast stuff is up. Let's just record one. Let's let it rip and see what happens." And
so out there,
it was a lot of fun.
Out there, floating around is the After Hours podcast. So you guys, what was the idea, Ryan? Were you gonna listen to that some years later, like put it in a time capsule?
Right.
And
that was the idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
We weren't supposed to listen to it for another 10 years, but we did go back and listen to it.
How do you lock something into a time capsule when it's electronic?
That's a great question.
Self-control.
Somebody should develop that app.
There
where
should
you
be.
have a Google Drive link that can only open after 20 years.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Yeah,
there's got to be a way.
Somebody do it.
Oh yeah.
Somebody do it.
Okay. So just before we get started on this conversation, I want to begin with a little advertisement because our friend Jake is not here this morning, but he's got some awesome news. Here it is, an official copy of The Unusual and Adventurous Raising of Charlie Finley.
Nice. Chris, zoom in on that thing. Let's get a close up on that cover.
Look at this thing. That is the book.
Nice.
By Jake Each. And I'm his biggest hype man on this one. This is so good. I reread it yesterday and there's like some tear stains at the end of this thing. It's just, it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would highly commend this to you. I think it's available on Amazon. We're gonna at Veritas Cedar Rapids. I think they've got copies. If people are out there, we'll have copies. I don't know if we'll have them. Well, hopefully by the time this is.
Yeah, we do. We've got them right now.
Oh, we do.
Yep.
Okay, I knew we had 12 and that I gave, but we got a bigger.
We got a shipment.
Awesome. Okay, right on. So these will be available. Maybe in the show notes, we'll have a link to.
Yeah, we'll include that where you can buy it. So
we may do another little conversation with Jake about it to just kind of.
What's your short pitch for it?
This is a great. Well, people don't read anymore, so the first pitch is like, read a book. We should read. But really, it's this would be a. I feel like it's kind of like a Pixar movie where it's like, is it for kids or what age? It's probably written in that 3rd to 5th grade, kind of children's book level. Maybe there's some big words in there that those kids would have to look up. But this is a great book to read out loud to your kids. Mm-hmm. So grandparents reading to grandkids, parents reading to their kids, or just read it. I mean, it's really a profound telling of the gospel in a way and God's interaction with his children. And so I just, like for Veritas Kids or children's ministry, I think this would be a fun gift for parents. Jeff, you have any?
I was thinking, think Narnia, kind of a thing where adults, like you said, you read it yesterday with tear stains. I mean, I wasn't reading it to a child at all and loved the whole story and everything else. So don't make it just it. I mean, it for sure is that's why he wrote it. So you could teach children, but I'm saying there's enough depth there that we should all read it. Yeah.
And great for parents
great for parents.
it's a parenting book basically. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's about how this child was raised, and
Yeah.
I just felt like reading that as a dad. I was like, oh, these
So
are great lessons to
these
teach my
lessons.
kids.
The lessons are incredible. Each chapter, and he's got family discussion questions in the back. So huge. Each one ends with kind of a verse, but it's also not. I don't know. I don't know if you have to say this, but
James, what's the genre like medieval times or where it's always on a journey? I'm trying to think, not Aesop's Fables, but there's another. Anyway, there's a whole genre of
would
Gulliver's
Canterbury
Travels?
Tales.
Canterbury
be in
Tales.
this? Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. But this
Yes.
is kind of in the reverse. Just if there's a journey, but there's different characters that keep coming in. And it becomes intriguing and builds because there's these you keep encountering.
that's a great connection.
Or
Canterbury Tales.
something like that, or maybe Pilgrim's Progress or something like that.
Yeah.
Where but these characters kind of get dropped in anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly well done. Jake hides his creative side. He doesn't tip his hand at how creative he really is. And then you read this book and you're like, oh, whoa, well done.
There's just some lines in here that are hilarious when he's talking about you're just his description of, she was mean as poison, or she was he's got these different lines in there that I just think are hilarious. Jake's that this came out of his.
At one point, he uses the term higgledy-piggledy, and I was imagining Jake saying that. It brought a smile to my face.
Oh, that's so good.
Imagine him during a sermon. Using that.
Oh, how do I work that in? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so here we are on the fire porch. Drake, how you feeling this morning? You feeling all right?
Yeah, doing well.
Good.
Had a great night of youth last night and
Good.
great morning
Awesome.
with some boys this morning, getting some coffee. So it's fantastic.
This to say FYI, this conversation may go a little longer, and so we'll kind of, as it goes, we'll see how. But it'd be maybe a longer podcast, or we're gonna have to break it into two. But also, it's great. You're on the right here. If you have to go to the bathroom at any point, just kind of
Dip out.
I think this is one of those podcasts where you just gotta do what you gotta do. So, all right. So Ryan, next week you're gonna be heading off. How are you doing?
Yeah, I thought you'd ask me that, and I had no idea how I was going to answer. But we're doing okay. Yeah, all of our stuff is gone. It's all packed up into a pod and went ahead of us. Hopefully it makes it to Santa Barbara. But we will be leaving 7 days from now. Me, Drake, a few other boys packed into a small Hyundai Kona.
You bet.
Just a short few day drive.
Perfect size car.
Ellie and
It's gonna be the
Bodie.
best.
Oh man, yeah. Ellie and Bodie will fly out a couple days later and meet us there. And it's happening.
Wow.
And you got a place. You have a place to go.
We got a place.
That's a big update.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't true not very
And
long ago.
I feel like we should say that our house here sold, because by the time people listen to this, it will have sold.
It's going to happen.
Oh, nice.
It's gonna
I love
happen.
the
Is that a good way?
Prophecy.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
way to do it.
prophecy. Be great.
I
Hopefully.
love the faith there. It hasn't sold as of this moment, but by the time people are listening,
Yeah,
it will
you
have sold.
should speak in future tense all the time on your podcast.
I think the theology of that is the name it, claim it approach, right?
My
No.
You're
No, I think there is a
to apologize for your
speak
guests.
it
on
into
here.
existence. No, So I guess Drake, the question is, how are you doing? This is like, it's a weird thing, It's hard for everyone. I feel like I've been on the verge of tears the last week as we get closer and closer. And I think someone in staff meeting, maybe Rebecca, was talking about, I don't want to be selfish, but this is so hard for for me, for us. And there is that tension of just, we're all feeling the looming loss of just friendship that we love and proximity. And it's like this mix of excitement about what God will do. And yet just how are you doing? I mean, cause I brought you on too this morning, cause you and Ryan and your friendship that really, it pervades maybe our church, just the friendship culture. I think a lot of it is downstream from from just the mutual love that you guys have for each other and your group of friends. But yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
kind of your thoughts, how you're processing things.
Yeah. I mean, it feels pretty surreal, like Ryan and I feel like have talked about him planting a church since college, and like your thoughts of California has just been an ongoing conversation. And then it's just, when's God going to do it? And then even now, I feel like I've been just putting off the thought of we're going to be getting in a car in a week's time to drive out there. Like, let's just enjoy the moment until it hits, and then we'll let all the emotions hit. But we're kind of getting to that point,
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the emotions are coming.
Well, you're probably looking forward to the road trip because you guys have had
that
a
was
few
on
road
purpose.
trips. Right. So
that was how do we turn the worst day ever into the best day
totally.
ever?
It's actually the hard day is going to be when you turn around.
Because I've gone on a road trip with Ryan
but you
to
always
California.
come back again.
But he's in the car on the way home
Right,
as well.
right.
So
Yeah.
that's a different take.
Yeah.
Drake, tell me the story about, Ryan's been itching to, not itching to get out of here, but there was a time when we thought Ryan was headed up north with Drew to plant a church, and you were reflecting on that story, and but it was funny. You guys intersected living together at the Johnson's house for a little bit. Maybe tell that story.
Yeah. So I, after our time was done at Bromega, our college house.
Wait, can we hit pause on the story right there? Bromega.
100%.
What is Bromega?
It's nothing. It's just a house of guys, just a dumpster of a place that we had a lot of fun at.
But we just only have beautiful nostalgic memories tied to it.
I feel like the name Bromega was just like kind of like a slight at fraternities as well.
Oh, okay.
Like just kind of like a funny play on words.
Okay. It only exists as lore in my mind. The story is a Bromega and that. So basically it's just a bunch of college dudes living together in
it was
a dumpy
fantastic
place. Great.
Yeah, pretty normal. Great memories. But yeah, so I moved into the Johnsons' basement when they moved to town and got a house. But then it was 6 months before I got married that Ryan and Dalton moved in the basement. So I moved upstairs and I kicked Mike out of his room. And so I'm like next door to Micah, Matthias,
all
and
three of
Max.
my nephews.
100%. So there was a moment where I think Paige and I were talking about moving. I think it was like to Portland at that time. And I remember coming downstairs. I remember seeing you sitting on the ground and just saying, "Hey, I'm moving to Minneapolis." Drew's planting a church, going to Minneapolis. I'm like, this is crazy. And so that kind of threw up all of our conversations of where we're moving. Paige and I had thought about Minneapolis before, but then decided to stay in Iowa City, and it like threw it all for a loop. And so we then were like, okay, we're being a part of this church. We're going to move up there.
Wow.
I'll find a job. And I mean, that's when I remember we'd have conversations of moving to Minneapolis. And I think you were just, excited about the next new thing to go be a part of this church plant, to start something. And then I remember the moment, this is what I was reflecting with Mark, of driving home. And I can still picture that little offshoot of driveway that they had. You had your car parked right there, doors cracked open. You had 1 foot on the ground and just like head in your hands. And before I spoke to you, I'm like, oh, he's not moving. And then I have a conversation with you, and you've got, tears or the residue of tears, however you want to. And you had a conversation with Mark where Mark's like, hey, you want to stay to
Mark made me cry.
Start a youth ministry. Yeah, it was a rough one. Do you want to start a youth ministry? And I don't know. We talk about the faithfulness test. I feel like that was like a beginning of what does it look like to be faithful? And then you just look back on years of what the Lord has built in you since then for this moment. And so I just remember that moment. And then right before I'm about to move, Ryan throws my name in the hat for ministry. So then I'm not moving either. So there's a lot to that story, but yeah. So
this is all I think about. I don't know, a number of years ago, I would go and to these different trainings, leadership training things, and all the talk about pipelines. What's your pipeline? And everyone go to your, whiteboard and, show us your pipelines. And I was like, that hasn't been my experience of my life and ministry and what I've seen, how God leads people. Like you just drop them in here and they go down, they take a turn here, they go down here, they go right, then out they come in this. It's all about a predictable process of discipleship, and the outcome is predictable. Like they start here as a freshman and they come out here as a whatever pipeline we stuck them in, church planner or this or that. And I just that didn't, I don't know, it's just not how I see it. I think there's some good in that, talking about, how to disciple people. That's great. But I see the discipleship process more as a Plinko board. It's like you stick them in, they hit a peg, and then they go this way. And just when you think they're going to hit that jackpot, this is what we wanted, like boom, 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 they end up way over here and in the disappointing category of, oh shoot, it was so
That's
promising. I thought I was going to hit $10,000 or I thought I was going to hit this thing, and now they're over here. And just that it's not like, the process to me is not predictable, that it's fascinating. It's crazy. It's God is the one doing it. Yeah. And it doesn't always follow a logical, predictable path. And so as you were talking, I was thinking about that. Like that you thought, like, I think I'm going here. And then all of a sudden I'm over here, and it's all these years later. It's, think about all the things that happened from Ryan I'm going to assume he was 21 at that time.
Yeah.
21,
gotta be around there.
22, maybe 10 years ago.
Drake has a pretty good, accurate memory on this. He's telling me stuff that I didn't even know.
Yep. Just to refresh you.
Take your word for it.
Yep.
So Ryan, tell us about some of the unpredictable things that, if it is more of a Plinko, like maybe that, like as a 22-year, I thought I was going to do this, and maybe along the way, just some other unexpected things that God did to get you to this place.
Yeah, I think even starting out school not at Iowa and transferring here, because talking to the friends I did have here who were just starting this salt company thing, who had followed you from Ames or had just jumped in as college students, who were so excited about God was doing in Iowa City. That was unpredictable. That was kind of the first maybe Plinko chip for me as I started playing the game a little bit. I moved around a lot in my life, but that was kind of a big one where I finally made the decision to move something across the country. So I came back from San Diego, and that was one of the best decisions of my life, man. Just week one here, being in the last salt we ever had at the Hotel Vetro, and hearing Drew preaching and jumping into Drake's connection group that first night of Salt Company in 2013. That's pretty. That was pretty cool. That was a very fun Plinko thing to hit. Peg.
Because what got you excited about San Diego that made
Iowa
City unexpected?
I mean, it was blizzarding outside, and I was watching the Rose Bowl. That's why. I mean, I was like, why wouldn't I go there? It made sense as an 18-year-old. Like, why? Why wouldn't I get out of here?
Yep.
And that's cooler. That's more exciting. It's more impressive. You name it. It was also more expensive, but I didn't care at the time. I still don't seem to care. But no.
And you chose an even cooler city, Pasadena versus San Diego, dude. You even went further south and further cool. Well done on that. If you were going to do an adventure, do that.
Yeah. But getting to Iowa is, I think, this is I don't know, growing up in a ministry household, I think ministry was always the one career I didn't want to do. I always I love the Lord, and I wanted to serve him and be involved in the church, but never like this, never like on staff. And Drew ruined that one as well, just kind of like giving me opportunities and jumping in as an intern, as a sophomore here, or a junior here at Iowa. I wasn't really honestly that excited about that. I thought maybe it was like a fun little season, and it was just, you blink and you're here. It's funny.
Were you guys both in a discipleship group with Drew?
Yeah. Us and Dalton. Yeah.
Tell us about that. You guys, we had at our Take the Hill staff retreat, we invited Drew and a couple of his staff guys to come down, and you guys jumped in the car. Drew's like getting the old band back together. the two of you and Dalton and Drew, you jumped in the car, and all I know is like at one point I saw you guys all teared up, and it just looked like it was tell us about that season with Drew, what you learned from him during that 4 years.
Oh man.
And then eventually you would go back on you would move up to Minnesota to be a part of Redemption and
totally
helping start Assault there.
I mean, I remember that D group was so wild for me because I transferred from Iowa State to Iowa, and that was before Dalton was a believer. That's before you were here. I still remember even, my roommate at the time having like a FaceTime call with you out in the hallway, and that's where you were beginning to say, I think I'm going to transfer to Iowa. And so that D group just represented such a unique like friendship that I had been praying for in that transferring to Iowa. And just, Drew was amazing. He, would tell it how it is, and he would just call us to a holy way of life. But also we just loved hanging out every week at the bread garden. It's just those normal reoccurring things that just build up to be this massive impact. And so, yeah, I think it was just like where the friendship continued to spill over into discipleship, and we loved it.
It seems like that's where friendship is formed in times of confession, of gospel. When I think of Drew, I just think of a fierce commitment to the gospel. The finished work of Jesus Christ on the cross is what I think about when I think of Drew.
Oh yeah.
And so I think of Jesus kind of galvanizing your friendship around the cross together, and all of the confession and that happens, especially during that season. I mean, so that was a sweet season. And then after, so Drew goes up to plant a church. What was next for you in the church?
It was to go with him. I mean, because he,
oh yeah,
that D group was amazing. That discipleship group was amazing. And, that's when he would just say things like ministry is relationships all the time. As we were wondering what we were doing, he's like, we're doing it right. Trust me. We're just getting time together. You're watching my kids, this is discipleship. Like, okay, cool. And then when he said
babysitting,
yeah, free babysitting, no, just kidding. I don't think I ever even did that, but just hanging out with him and his family, being him entering our lives, pulling back the curtain to his own life. So when he asks you, do you want to go with me? It's like, well, of course I do. Why wouldn't I? And so that was kind of the thought process, or in a kind of a beautiful way, the lack thereof, the thought process of committing to move up there and start something new with him.
Yeah.
And that, of course, like Drake was saying, there was just God had something else to teach me, a new thing to teach me that you think being in the church your whole life and being a Christian since you were 10, you think you would have heard of the word faithfulness by then, but it's almost like it was like a different language or something.
So we talked a lot about the faithfulness test. Like what is that to you? What does that mean? It's like because to me it was like, if you're going to go plant a church, you have to have passed the faithfulness test. What is the faithfulness test? Is it from your perspective?
Well, for someone like Job, it's like, could the worst possible nightmare happen to your life over and over and over again, and you would still just like bless the Lord?
Yep.
And so on like a very, 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 very elementary level, it's like, hey, could you just like not be married till you're 30 and just stay in one place for more than 5 minutes? It was a pretty low bar for, when you all things considered. Yeah. So it's really, can you just learn to wait on the Lord for just a little bit? Just,
Wow.
I think it's pretty.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for you, it was, waiting on the Lord, just doing things that are like being asked to, it was because on the table were two things that Drake's referring to back in 2016. It's go plant a church in Minneapolis, be assault director at age 22, 23, somewhere in there, or be the youth pastor of a youth group of, maybe we have five kids in there, like which one's more
staff
exciting?
and elder kids,
just just a handful of kids in the youth group, or go on this exciting adventure to plant a church and plant a big salt company. You know, that's a faithfulness test right there. Which one will you choose? I guess, why did you choose to do the youth?
I don't know. I remember the moment though. I remember when you never told me I couldn't do one. Yeah, I couldn't go to Minneapolis. You never said that. You just said, here's an idea. This is what I think you're good at, but this is where I think you need to grow. I think you can lead. I think you're going to learn to preach, but I think you need to learn to be faithful and take that as you will. But, you know, as you make your next decision, remember that. That's pretty much what you told me. And you drew a little picture of like a pond with a fishing rod. And you're like, yeah, you just need your own pond. I'm like, okay, so I remember you writing that on a napkin, which pretty much was a pitch for just come, you know, you have all these high schoolers and middle schoolers in the Iowa City area. Wouldn't it be fun to just go fishing? You know? And I was like, yeah, I guess.
I think it's
Mark,
funny that you thought you had to draw that as a picture instead of just saying it like, imagine a pond.
I just summed it up pretty well right there.
It's a detailed pond.
I do remember the picture, and it's actually a guy who's ice fishing. And do you want me to draw you the picture? Because actually, it's.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because I've drawn this 100 times. So
Wow.
Oh, I thought I was.
Do you guys
special.
want to see the picture? Here, I'll find something for you. Just carry on.
We're boosting those YouTube stats. Get on the video, people.
As Mark was drawing,
Watch
he
on
said,
Spotify.
I've never drawn this for anybody before. This is just something the Lord gave me for you. But now it's hundreds of times.
99 times since then. So
Pulling back the curtain.
That hurts.
Yeah, we need to do an episode of just all the things
But-
Mark draws.
In short,
Recurring drawings.
Mark, what I actually remember feeling in that moment was not just about like my leadership development. It was that I love Veritas. That was one of those moments that I can look back, and there were a few, probably more than a few, but a few really stick out of, this is my church and I love it here. And I hope that whatever decisions I'm making are more about the church and not about myself. And I remember just feeling like this peace about that, and like this genuine excitement. Like, you know, hearing about, wasn't Clint the janitor at Cornerstone or something for a while? Like, how do I get a little bit of that in my life? And this is not that. You know, we had a great time in youth, but any chance to just scrub a floor, you know?
well.
Okay.
We got it.
You got it?
Wait. I'm not quite ready. Keep talking here.
Wow.
It's pretty
well
detailed.
because the question I've got is for you, but you're not going to be able to focus on it if you're.
The question is
doing
for
it.
me.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm almost ready here.
Well, Ryan, I feel
This is
like
awkward.
then came the moment where you had to go and talk to all the students that you convinced to transfer.
Oh, that was a dark day at McDonald's.
Hey, actually, I'm staying.
Hey, I know you just sent in all your paperwork and like have talked to your academic advisor, and you're going to the U of M. No, you're
Psych.
not.
Yeah.
A dark day at McDonald's.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. Zach
Imagine the mood at this McDonald's. Not your typical day. This is a dark day at McDonald's.
All right.
We need a
Here's-
McFlurry.
Usually everybody's in a great
All right.
We're in the play place.
Okay, here's the punchline of the picture you have to see is okay, this guy right here. See that? Okay, this guy is
It took you that long.
Okay.
to draw.
Oh yeah, you're zoomed in good.
Well, he's done it so many
Right
times.
here. Drake, what's
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy doing? This guy is ice fishing. And this is a picture of vision. Like, this guy is ice fishing on a lake. Okay,
Is the
see
fish the
pine trees?
hole?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
he cut
It's
out
a fish
hole the
shape.
shape of
Oh,
a
He's
okay.
what is this guy doing? This guy is expecting to catch a fish that big, right? So usually you just carve out a little hole to
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
your fish out of.
fish. Right.
This guy is ice fishing, and he carved out half the lake because he was planning on pulling out a fish that big.
Are we
That's-
back to the prosperity gospel again?
Yeah.
Somehow
He
we're
named
gonna
it and claimed it.
visualize. We're going to
back
visualize
to-
the fish.
Okay, so now do you get
Nice.
that's the picture.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah,
What I was
nice.
talking about is leading with vision. Just what God is able to do through, you know, what those people live their lives, but when it's like you factor God into the equation, we talked about prayer like that. Like when you factor God into the equation, what he's able to do is much greater and more miraculous than anything,
Yeah.
you know, without him. So that's just a picture of, I think.
No, it's a good picture.
Anyway, I was
It's a
mocked for
good
drawing
picture.
a picture of a.
It's a good
guy
one.
fishing.
I love it. I'm getting this idea for an episode where it's like Bob Ross style and it's like ministry illustrations. And you could do the bridge diagram. You know, like these are just like the average pastor drawings.
Oh,
you
man.
Yeah.
Wow.
The average pastor
Dude,
drawings.
that's like actually a decent book idea. Like if you're talking about more kids books,
Yeah.
do a picture.
Coffee table book.
Okay.
Wow.
Write that down. Write that down.
Get that down.
The average artist.
Who's going to remember these
Less
ideas?
than.
Wow.
Well, right.
Yeah, Mark
Actually-
could be the illustrator. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that.
So I
Cheap book to make.
what are we calling this? The average pastor in drawing, just picture book? Is that
Yeah, the average pastor picture book.
Yeah. I like that.
Perfect.
That's
Could be
great.
a pop-up.
Uh-huh. Yeah, pop-up book.
Oh, wow.
Pop-up book.
Yes. Lift a flap. Book.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, so my question, Mark, is this. So what was going on in your head when you had that conversation with Ryan to detour him away from Minneapolis and back here? Because like my conversation with you to encourage you to come to Iowa City, right? And now your conversations with Ryan about, yes, go to Santa Barbara. So what was in your head of why, rather than coaxing him and fueling that fire to go, what were you thinking at that point, why Ryan should actually stay?
Well, you have to factor in selfish ambition and vain conceit that Ryan was our best leader. And the thought of him going with Drew was more than I could handle.
Let's be honest. That was exactly spot on.
This is a tell-all
That's it.
today.
That's it. That's
So you
all.
can't-
Next question. Yeah.
That's certainly mixed into the dough.
Totally.
right?
How much of the pie chart is that? Pure
There's
and
another
impure
drawing. Get
motives.
that out. I want to see a drawing.
Drawing. Add that to the list. Add that to the list of drawings.
I'm going to call it a solid 90% of that pie chart.
How to make decisions. That's good.
Sometimes on the Plinko board, you see my hands appear and try to move.
A lot of the pegs.
There's a
lot of
magnet
pegs.
involved that you can just.
Some of the
Man.
pegs are a picture of my hand trying to.
Oh, this is good. There's some good infographics here too. Okay,
Oh, man.
the wheels are turning.
Okay. Jeff,
Wow.
sorry.
Okay, I think that's
Thank you for being
But,
honest.
but
Yeah,
okay,
totally.
here's I will give you the context. So Ryan, sometimes I feel like you and I are living parallel lives, like 15 years apart, or however many years apart we are, 17 years. In some of my, and I don't want to project there's so many ways that we're different. Our stories are way different, but so I don't want to project too much of my story onto yours. But this was a defining peg for me, is when Troy Nesbitt asked me, "Hey, Mark, do you want to be our first full-time youth pastor at Cornerstone?" And it's like, I was excited to ascend the ministry ladder of success, and the next rung would be like lead salt. And I have seen most of my life, like, how has God led me? I tend to not hear the voice of God as clearly when it involves a big life decision about what I should or shouldn't do. Most of the times I hear God's voice the loudest, and it's when it's like, "Hey, Mark, you should probably go clean the dishes." You see that pile of dishes? You should probably do that. So usually when it's a big decision like that, it feels more like the Lord saying, "Man, what do you want to do?" And two great options,
Mhm.
And I just feel like taking the next step. So I still remember in one of the first La Fuente Mexican restaurant in Ames is when you first invited me to come on staff. I was just a student, and you said, "Mark, you're about to graduate. What would you think about coming on staff?" as an intern making $500 a month. I'm
Yeah.
like, no way. You're going to offer that to me?
What am I going to do with all that extra money I've got?
So that was amazing. But then going through, and that position was like, I was a worship leader for a while, which is amazing because I don't really like, we were playing yesterday and I'm like, yeah, I actually am not a musician at all. I don't know how to play instruments. I don't know what I'm doing. James is like, okay, it's the 1, the 3, the 6, and then it goes to the 5. And I was like, that's just, I don't understand any of that. I don't know how to sing harmony. I barely know, whatever. And you're like, you want to be the worship leader? I'm like, totally. And so I did that for 3 years. And then Troy at this point was, I think, Jeff, you were transitioning at that time from SALT director into community, more of a shepherding, teaching pastor role, something like that at Cornerstone. And so Paul ended up taking SALT Company. So Paul led SALT, and Troy is giving me the youth ministry. And I'm looking at my buddy Paul, and I'm watching him pass me up, and it looks like he's going up, and it's like I'm being asked to go down further on the ladder. Like, will you be our youth pastor? And that I was like, there's nothing. It's not like I've always wanted to work with teenagers. It's like what my friend Ed calls youth ministries, like ministry purgatory. It's like where you go to atone for past sins of your youth. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Cause if that's the next thing that's needed and that's where I can serve. Yes. That's the opportunity I'm getting, then I'll take it. And so that was 4 years of, think about it. Some of the incredible things that happened. Miranda Ennis, now Robinson, comes to know Jesus. She's her and Clint, church planners over in Thailand. I think about, the so many people. Samantha Kelly, and just seeing God work in that time was amazing. So I saw how God, like I was in Ames for 15 years, and every year was just like taking the next step of faithfulness. And what I see now is that it's like, it's like ministry people are like military kids, it's like they're just getting assigned to different, places, and those military bases don't ever feel like home. It's just like, well, I'm here for a little bit, and where am I going next? And I'm just like, man, I'm sad because I don't know if very many people will get the opportunities I had to just grow in a place and learn from Jeff and Troy and the elders and be shaped in a local church context. Not that everyone has to do that, and it doesn't have to be 15 years. Like, that's not really the point. I think the point was more just faithfulness over time, saying yes to the next thing. And so I just wanted that for you. Also knowing your background of ministry, moving around a lot, I thought, I think it would be good for you to just be in a place, to be shaped, to be faithful. And then, and then we just started calling that process the faithfulness test. Are you willing to lead in a place that like it's much too small for your ego, but it's perfect for your heart of humility, So I think that was the whole, to answer your question, my own story and Troy asking me, would you be the youth pastor? And then, so it was very similar. And then of course I had all of Troy's kids in my youth ministry. Every week Troy and I met, and basically our meeting was about his kids and what they were in. It was great because it became like, I learned so much about just being a dad, a parent, or whatever. You had I don't know if it was the fortune or misfortune of having to be evaluated through the lens of what my kids thought of youth group the night before. But
oh man,
yeah. So that's a story.
Yeah.
What did you learn during that time? The years of, was it 3 or 4 years of doing youth ministry?
It was only 2.
2. Oh, well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Good and faithful servant.
Maybe felt like 4, but no.
Yeah. What did you learn during that time? Or what were not learn,
Well,
but maybe
what-
what were some
I feel
things
like
you saw
one-
God do?
I think one faithfulness test that maybe not, I shouldn't say most pastors or preachers have to go through. So maybe you guys haven't felt this, but just the faithfulness test of preaching bad sermons and not getting better as fast as you want, or sometimes feeling like you're not getting better at all. It's like, can you
Yeah.
preach a bad sermon and then do it again?
Show up the next week.
That's one of the sneaky ones when you zoom into this whole, oh, faithfulness test sounds really fun until you're preaching this like garbage sermon to a bunch of kids who are going to the bathroom every 2 minutes. It's like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what I learned from that, but that's a thing. Yeah, I don't know.
Dude, I'm having that
Definitely
same
is.
dilemma right now. For the sermon I'm going to be preaching this Sunday for your send off. Last night, I've got this like slew of notes and thoughts, and all of them are just epic. You know, how those things are going to coalesce into
Oh,
one
man.
sermon
Right.
is not clear
Do
at all.
you ever get over that?
No.
Do you ever get
No.
over the moment of looking at your notes and just putting them out before the Lord like, man,
Please,
This
Lord.
is what I got. Yeah, this is
That,
Please.
to have that moment takes a lot of time between print and get on stage. And so there's like,
sure.
that takes a lot of discipline to get to that moment to put them before the Lord and say, "Do something with this."
If you even have the notes with you while you go on stage,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
That's another
Oh.
story.
Ryan,
What is
you
that? Yeah.
that was a literal preaching nightmare. The things that
Mm.
happen in my worst nightmare. Can you tell that story?
I mean,
Please.
I'm glad I could be that
Yeah.
story for you, you know?
That we could share this moment now.
No,
from-
I was preaching at a youth retreat recently at a big church, similar size to Veritas, honestly. Place I went to in high school. Love them. They've been so kind to me. And I'm a little nervous, just as you are guest preaching anywhere. You just don't know the people really that
Mhm.
you're preaching to, and they don't know you. So there's always just like a little bit of a nerves going on there, a little more like harder to breathe. Well, I wasn't feeling great all weekend as I was preaching to the youth. And that Saturday night, I'm going to bed, and I know I have to wake up the next morning and preach to not just the youth group, but the entire church twice at their weekend services. But I just hit like a deep fever. Like I was sweating, I was freezing, I was everything. Trying to throw up all night, I just couldn't do it. I was like, this is miserable. Get like almost no sleep. And I'm going into preaching the next morning, and I'm like, God have mercy. This is gonna be so. Thank the Lord I'd preached this sermon once before or twice, but it was just like, man, I don't know.
But it was months ago that you preached
Right.
that.
Well, yeah, it was just like, you know, I was feeling confident, and then God kind of took that away from me. It was really interesting. And I'm all of a sudden 30 minutes before church, my friend's like, oh yeah, church starts in 30 minutes. You should probably go. I'm like, are you serious? I didn't know when church even started. I'm waking up. I'm still like, I can't eat. I can't drink coffee. I can't have anything, or I'm going to throw up. And I get there and realize I haven't turned my notes over from the CSB to the ESV because that's what they preach from. So I'm scrambling here. I grab one of their ESV Bibles, put my notes in it, and whatever, go through all the green room stuff. And I'm getting introduced on stage, and I get up there and I'm looking down at this ESV Bible I grabbed, and I open it up to grab my notes, and I realize these aren't my notes. These are for a different sermon. And
Every
I
time it
realized
still
the
gets me.
fever dream continues.
Oh my God.
And I'm looking at them, and I look up into the crowd at a sea of people I don't know. Adults, like real adults. And I'm just like,
Real
This is not youth ministry.
no, like, yeah. And I'm just like, well, and I almost felt the Lord just go like,
Just he laughed.
have you ever heard the audible voice of God? I have. And it was just like, and I was like, here
Dude,
we
I have
go.
a stomach
Let
ache
it rip.
again.
Oh.
I've heard you tell this story. I
Every
again
time.
have not
Just
literally.
feel it. And I mean,
Oh.
lucky for the people who went to both services that day, because they got two different sermons.
Right.
So it was a blessing in disguise to
We're
them.
the second service, so we're like, oh, this is the second time going through this, but we didn't know it was a dramatically different message.
Well,
from the
I
first
really
one.
hope it wasn't
Based on
dramatically
notes.
But
different.
you no,
But
no,
at
just
one
to
point,
be clear, you didn't preach the sermon that you had your notes for. You tried to preach the sermon
Right.
you were supposed to preach.
Yeah.
I did. I mean, I did. You know, I hope it was close, but I mean, I'm looking up at the screen in the back, and I have bad eyes, and I can't really read where my notes are at even on their screen. It's so far away, And I'm just like,
And the first point is,
I literally said, it's like, drum roll, please. No, I didn't say, but I looked back there. I'm like, hey, what was that last point again? I said that. I said, what was that last point again? And they like awkward pause. They put up there, said, there it is. Yep. Point number 2. It was bad. But I couldn't have, you would have thought I won a gold medal after that because I was so happy to be done.
Oh yeah.
The only thing you could add to that story to make it worse was, and I had no clothes on or something.
Right,
You know,
right,
like,
right.
it's like you're,
Dude,
yeah. That's
At least that would have
nightmare
distracted from the sermon. No.
Oh my word.
stuff. Wow.
That is
So preaching to youth. Now, Drake, that has been your privilege of speaking to teenagers. You preached last night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's your
it's-
experience of?
Oh man. Yeah, youth group is a great place to learn how to preach to people who really look not interested at times.
Yeah.
Whether it be the bathroom breaks, whether it be just needing 30 drinks of water in the midst of it. But no, it's honestly been a joy. It's one of those, when I was in my early 20s, youth ministry didn't sound like the exciting thing. But it's just, and I'm sure you learn, just a gem of a time to be working with students. And so I love it. I love it now.
Yeah.
Grown to love it. And
It's it really is a strategic ministry that we need to continue to pour more into. I mean, it's like, because most churches, their youth ministry are what Salt Company is to us, youth ministry is to them, you know? And I think that the opportunity to reach teenagers, I mean, how many people, when you guys were leading Salt, did you meet that's like, I came to Christ in high school, which is awesome. Or, well, my youth pastor said, you tried to, make sense of whatever theology they learned and from their youth pastor. Like it's a very formative time. And so I think it's hugely important. So after kind of going through your
Sure.
journey after youth ministry, what was the next season for you?
Yeah.
What was the next invite into the next thing?
Yeah, you too just pulled me out of some meeting. I don't know what it was, but you just said, "Are you ready?" I was like, and I praise God for this moment, not because it was like, "Oh, thank the Lord, finally, yes, I'm ready." It wasn't that. What I was praying for early on in youth was that when it was time to go, I wouldn't really want to. And I remember thinking like, I don't know, actually. Like, I really think there might be at least another year. I mean, that was Ava's grade, Danny, Nolan, Kaliba, so many just great friends. I was like, I'd be so fun to see them through. And I'm learning a lot. And it is enjoyable. It's so much better than, we should keep making jokes about it, but it's also magic. And I can't, oh man, I don't want to go to youth ministry ever again. I don't like youth ministry, but I love our youth ministry, right? Like once it's people that it's amazing. It doesn't matter how old they are.
That's what you're going through right now, Drake.
Oh, totally.
Because all of a sudden
It's amazing.
you're bringing another buddy in to lead youth, and you're like, I don't know, maybe we can work together for a while.
Sure.
Well, it's a beautiful
investing in people's lives.
Yeah.
Isn't that a profound thing that you just said? Like, I don't know, I don't like youth ministry, but I love our youth ministry. I think that's a cool way of like the idea of loving the idea of something versus loving the actual people. And sometimes it's the opposite. Like people love the idea of ministry, but they don't like the actual people. And I think that's a
idea of
scary
ministry.
place
It's not as appealing without the people.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think to some people it is, like the idea of, well, you always quote Dietrich Bonhoeffer in Life Together.
Which
the
one?
ideal is the
wish dream.
Way to crush people.
Yep.
Yeah. What is it, Drake?
Yeah. It's just his idea that we can have this kind of wish dream or this dream of what community should be like. So we have these dramatically high expectations of what community should be like that we crush the actual community that we have.
Yeah.
Because they don't live up to the expectations that we have in our mind. So,
or the people that just want to, like you were talking about that preaching moment and stuff, or there are people that are in it to preach. Like it wouldn't matter who the audience is. They're just trying to, become a great preacher, be a good kind of pastor or teacher, preacher, whatever. And the people are kind of irrelevant out there. You know what I mean? They're just the craft of doing it is what's fueling them. And that's why I think a lot of us can have some fails at preaching, but because we love our people and they love us, it's all kind of mutually like, that's all right. Yep. We're good. We're a family. You know what I mean? Like it's a beautiful soft landing.
Yeah.
Because we're not professionals. We're in there. We really love the Lord. We really love people. We want to teach them well.
I
It's
think
a bumpy road.
I think that's where it is the hardest, one of the hardest things to hold on to. Like if you're thinking about what are the easiest things to lose as a pastor, that turn you into someone you don't want to be. I think number one has to be the thing that's easy to lose that you don't want to. It will turn you into a shell of a man. Is your love, your sincere love for Jesus. But I think another one is you lose your love for people.
Yeah.
You lose. Here's how it subtly creeps in though. It becomes pastor as leader or pastor as leader over pastor as shepherd. I mean, which is ironic, or we could think of a different word. Leader is like pastor as CEO versus pastor as shepherd, something like that. Because it becomes a big organization to lead, and it becomes an idea. Like you can literally just sit in your office and have ideas and like have people do stuff, but you're disconnected from the actual people. So that's where it becomes dangerous. Like it's not always as simple as it should be when you're like, well, I don't love youth ministry, but I love this youth ministry. It's like, it's so easy to drift out of that where it's like, I love this church, but I don't know these people. And so that like protecting pastoral integrity of like loving people, and because then it just becomes an organization to tweak, an organization to restructure and reassimilate and adjust the pipeline and move this pipe and put it over here, and it's like and it becomes just an organizational leadership thing rather than pastor as spiritual leader, as a spiritual shepherd. So in that I think we hit 3 of the things on my bingo card this morning as I was thinking about talking this, because I was thinking about like how would you boil down what we would want for you to have as you leave here? Like as you leave here, what are the few things, like if we're writing the average church planner book and you had to put it down to just a few chapters, what would they be? I mean, I was thinking about these 3 things of love, truth, and faithfulness. Love, truth, faithfulness. So the love is, I mean, it's the Lord. It's you have a love for the Lord that flows into a love for people. Do you love people? And I think in that whole realm, like Ryan, one things the way we've seen love flow out of your life is friendship. A while ago, so the guy who I first heard the phrase ministry is relationships from, it was a guy that came into, when I was doing youth ministry, I invited this guy in to do some training for our leaders on a Saturday morning. So all our volunteers come, and this guy came in from Illinois, and he talked about that. Like that was his whole thing. Ministry is relationships. And then he talked about people as Legos, like Lego pieces. Every person is different, how many nodules they have on them. Some people are like that green big plate that can just stick a lot of people on and come one, come all. And others are like the little 2-piece ones that once they're stuck together, you can't pull them apart. Those and just those nodules represent relational people capacity and all that. Well, you need all the pieces, but we're all different, And so Ryan, I just see you as a plate that like builds friendship. And you've talked about you're the one that, I think probably we all say things and every once in a while someone writes it down and picks it up as like a axiom of our life or a mantra of our life. And yours was you called Iowa City the friendship capital of the world. And I just see that out of you, but it comes out of your love, that first thing, just that you love people and you want, hasn't been that been your experience around?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And being a pastor, not being too busy for the people, or being a friend, not being too busy for the friend. And I think Ryan has showcased, to me and so many people, I feel like creating this space to give people the time that they deserve. And whether it be like in your singleness years, utilizing that to, when people came into town, you're hosting them, you're showing them the town, you're pulling other people in, like you were like, showing them that they were important. And I think it's crazy that there's so many people that have those like intimate moments of like, man, I felt like he cared for me so much in that moment. And it's like those little moments of faithfulness with a lot of people that has grown to this. Man, you've built a culture that's
contagious.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
So love is the test a church planter would have to pass is the love test of is ministry just ambition that you have to achieve or prove something or have dominion over something or something to conquer, or is it just I love God and I love people? So that's the love thing test. The second one is truth. I thought about truth. I mean, Jeff, maybe you can speak to this. I'm thinking of the pastoral epistles and Timothy, and he's like, are you going to guard the truth with your life? Are you going to, can you handle the word of God? Can you, protect sound doctrine? And do you understand, truth?
I was actually in the Gospel of John just yesterday thinking about this, because this is a verse that I used to have, and I grabbed this old Bible, my old NIV Bible, off my shelf to look at this again, because I printed it out and taped it right inside my Bible so that I would always, like, that'd be the first thing I would read, especially before I would teach. But John 7:18, it says, "The one who speaks on his own seeks his own glory, but he who seeks the glory of the one who sent him is true, and there is no unrighteousness in him." Just that phrase is true. You know what I mean? Like if the truth test, you get the faithful, the truth test is, are you opening the Bible and are you getting up in front of people and are you opening your mouth to bring glory to God? If that's true, people will be able to trust you. You're a truth speaker at that point. If it's actually to gain glory for yourself, if you're trying to build a big church or make a big splash out in Santa Barbara, whatever, people should have a healthy distrust in you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's your own glory rather than Lord. And I just think that is the most succinct verse maybe in the whole Bible for that idea. If you seek the glory of the one who sent you, you're true and there's no unrighteousness in you. You know what I mean? So that North Star of like, every time I go to lead, whether it's teach a sermon or just lead this new band of people that you're going to be leading in Santa Barbara, whatever it is, when you get up front, you're actually continually pointing them toward God. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
and
truth.
I think
There's a trust that comes.
I love that, Ryan, that I've never sensed that preaching for you is a craft that you're just trying to master. I mean, of course.
What's giving you that impression? It's been a good one.
Maybe he hasn't passed the truth test. Ryan, I have.
Oh man,
I have been around a lot of pastors, and you can a lot, especially young, aspiring. pastors, and you can tell when their focus is creating TED Talks, when their focus is, how can I listen to this famous pastor and mimic what they're doing?
Mm-hmm.
How can I learn their... Do you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
That's what I mean by
The
a
craft
craft
of
to
it. Yeah,
master,
yeah.
the craft of it. Like back in the ancient times, it was the sophists versus the philosopher. The philosophers, like the sophists were trying to, rhetoricians, like just motivational speakers that were just going around giving these motivational talks. And the philosophers are like, rolling their eyes like, that's not what this is about. It's about loving wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
They don't love wisdom. They just love crowds. They just want to get people. What I'm saying is that you have just a genuine trembling at the word. I mean, you're going to live. I mean, you're going to live with Jeff Dodge on your shoulder and Isaiah 66:2. This is the one I esteem.
Humble,
This is, he is humble in heart.
contrite of spirit.
Yeah. And trembles at my
Trembles
word.
at the word. Yeah.
Yep. And so I think that's I just see that in you. You have plenty of preaching chops and gifting, and there's no question about that. So it's just, but the truth that you pass is that John 7 that you read?
Yeah.
Mhm.
John 7:18.
Yeah. Is preaching for the glory of the one who sent you, and especially going into Santa Barbara. It's not like you're expecting the whole city to just be like, we love truth.
Right.
We've been waiting for you. There will be some, but your courage to speak truth, no matter whether it grows or shrinks your church or whatever, it's just the glory of God. And the last one, so love, truth, and then faithfulness. That was the last thing, is proven perseverance over time, that you are going to be faithful, that through all the ups and downs and seasons of, I mean, there's always gonna be times where you just want to quit ministry. And like, I just read Numbers 10 to 11 this morning, and Moses wants to quit. He's like, why did you, who are these people? Why did you do this to me, God? Why did you put me with having to lead all these yahoos over here that are complaining and grumbling and just, we all have those moments in ministry. And so proving faithfulness, proving that, that the church is not just a stepping stone to your own ambitions and glory and on to the next place. And it's like, no, I'm going to be faithful.
Yeah, Ryan, how would you, your last sermon to Salt Company was reflecting on your faithfulness and just like what the different ways that the Lord has shown you to grow in faithfulness. How do you feel like that is, I don't know, shifting your mindset or shaping your mindset as you go? Like the things you've learned, the things you've seen God do, the way He's made your path straight. How does that just give you hope for what's to come? Or
Well, yeah, I was trying to remember my sermon. I was like, I genuinely can't. But a couple weeks ago at Salt.
Yep.
Okay. Endurance.
Yep.
Okay. I can't remember any details about that sermon, but
it's a great one.
Look.
Yeah.
But I feel like no failure has stopped this so far, and no success had anything to do with me, and so we're just going to keep going.
Yeah,
like it's motivating. It's more motivating to see the Lord work than to feel good about how I did.
Yeah,
right. It's way more exciting, I feel like, to look at something and be like, with, I think, a good sense of humor that you guys all have, a lightheartedness of only God could have done that, while also realizing He could have let me veer into the ditch at any moment. Like if it were up to me and just my sin, my flesh, like this would have been, I was texting Drew about that the other day. He, and all of you, but just like reflecting on my friendship with Him and His discipleship of my life, He caught me from just like train wrecking my life or veering off into a ditch so many times, and just ruining this whole thing with the flesh. And so, I would say endurance has happened by God's grace, and He doesn't have a shortage of that. Just Ephesians 1, just this riches according to his riches, right? That's the bank we're pulling from here. And so, yeah, it's going to stay under the waterfall and see what happens.
Yeah.
What are some of the promises that are giving you courage right now? Like as you just lean into the great and precious promises of God, what are some, and I'm going to ask Jeff and Drake to speak into Ryan, and we're just like speaking over you promises. What are some of the promises that have been?
Well, yeah, even just like to frame in your question a little more, just going to Joshua 1 this week and just hearing God, just, I need to read something. What should I read? Yeah, probably Joshua 1's a good spot. Just be strong and courageous, be strong and courageous. Like 3 times he says it in the first little segment. It's like, for I will be with you. And it's just before any of the specifics come, like just make sure we get that right. Like I'm going to be with you. You need to hear this from me. Be strong and courageous. And so Joshua is like, yep, cool. He goes and he tells all the people this, and their response to him is really interesting because they're like, yep, we're with you. And then they say one more time at the very end of Joshua 1, be strong and courageous. But then it just kind of, they say it to him. It starts out as God saying it to God saying it to Joshua, but then God also knows he needs to hear it from other people around him. And so he's hearing it from the people he's leading and saying, we're with you because God is with you. Be strong and courageous. And I think that's been a cool season that I've been able to live in this past year or 13 years, but really heightened this past year of people speaking God's promises into my life.
Wow.
And so I know that wasn't a specific promise of God, but I mean, him being with me, that's the starting point.
Oh, that's reminds me of, I mean, there are a few passages that have become like theme verses for me. One of them is, I mean, this was my theme verse coming to Iowa City. And maybe you can quote it by now from having heard me quote it so many times, but I would just speak this over you is Isaiah 25:1. O Lord, you are my God. I will exalt and praise your name, for in perfect faithfulness, you have done marvelous things planned long ago. And I love ultimately the faithfulness is not our faithfulness. The perfect faithfulness is God's. And he says, you have done marvelous things planned long ago. When you think about it that way, it's like, wait a minute. And that's the whole, like, you are not going to be going anywhere that God has not already been. Like he's already, and it kind of reminds me of Ephesians 2:10, that we are his workmanship created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. It's like you're stepping into these good work. You're the workmanship of Christ. This beautiful, what's the Greek word? Isn't it like a mosaic or a, there's some, the word for workmanship. Right. It's like, you're this beautiful creation
like
of God.
Tapestry.
Tapestry. And God's like got good works for you to do. And just when you lead out of that, that's different. That's like, that is the ultimate freedom when you know, like, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about control. I can just relax today because God's
got it. Yeah.
He's got it.
Yep.
And so he's, Lord, you are my God.
Yep.
I will exalt and praise your name, for in perfect faithfulness, you have done marvelous things planned long ago. Now, 16 years later that I'm standing here, I'm looking back on the things he did have planned. It's like, and I can just, see Jesus like, so how's the view? Like, what do you think? It's like, cool, huh? And I think that God is, that's just one, Isaiah 25:1. What about you guys? What are some promises?
I think I just have Proverbs 3 come to mind, in that trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Like that, Ryan, there's only straight paths ahead, and he's got it mapped out. Even in all the questions of like the timing of the house or all these things, like he's got a straight path ahead that he's directing. He's the one in control, and that's a freeing thing to rest in that, because the one that's in control is also the one that said, "Take heart, I have overcome the world." And he is going with and bringing the power to do the work. And that's where it allows you to be freed up to be that just trusting, depending servant of him, to exalt him and see what he does. You know?
Yeah, just the providence of God that Luke 14 would be the passage for this coming Sunday, on the Sunday that we're sending off Ryan and the whole team. But this is so not profound. This seems like something I should have noticed in the Bible a long time ago, but just I feel like I'm discovering. But the first couple verses where Jesus says, "Now great crowds were traveling with him. So he turned and said to them, 'If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, and even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. Whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple.'" I just think it is so crazy that he's got this big crowd following him. It's like he looks over his shoulder, sees how many people are, and he stops, and everybody stops, and he starts culling the crowd rather than hyping it up and be like, "Sweet, we could take this. We're going to Jerusalem. We're going to take this." He stopped, realizing kind of, oh, there's too many people following me right now. And, like, puts his hand up and starts calling the crowd. "Hey, any of you guys that aren't actually following." But here's the word. This is the part that should have hit me before. That last verse. "Whoever does not bear his own cross and come after me cannot be my disciple." Come after me. So it's a pairing of Greek words. Sometimes he'll just say, "Follow me," but often he will say, "Follow after me." And here he's not just saying come, he's saying, "Come after me." And I just started really meditating. I'm like, no, stay behind him. Again, this is what I'm saying. This is not profound, but I it was like a thunderbolt when I was thinking about this. Jesus is not like putting us on a boat and shoving us off somewhere or putting some wind in our sails and, "Hey, go get him, Tiger." It's the charge is to continually stay behind him and follow after him. You know what I mean? And there's such comfort in that, right? It's that I'm actually not going alone. It pairs precisely with Joshua 1, that he's not, patting us on the head and say, "Okay, go. Hey, keep following after me. I'm the one that's going to go in front of you." And so even if that means I'm taking a turn and your family's going to stay behind, even if that means I'm going to take a turn and others won't follow, keep your eye on me, follow after me. And there's a lot of us staying back in Iowa City. You know what I mean? And Jesus is still saying, no, keep follow after me. I got this. And it's time to let go of some hands, but continue to follow after Jesus.
Is it just that's such a cool meditation. That after I think about Jesus blazing the trail, like after being chronological, but also in proximity to, the after being like, no, nobody's going to go to the cross before me. I'm the firstborn over all creation. I'm the one that's going to go to the cross, bear the weight of the now. And then, but once that, like, you'll come after, like, chronologically, but also after me, like in the, like, don't get ahead of me, just like stay close and closely follow after me. Totally. And it reminds me of, Ed Noble has this phrase. He says, following Jesus at a safe distance will keep you safe and distant. And it's the, like the, just that it's a whole, when we follow Jesus, he doesn't give us the Google Maps, go, 0.3 miles, turn right, go 6 miles, turn, it's like, it's more of a, he takes off and is like, "All right, follow me." Like, "Whoa, where are you going?" And it's like, he just takes off and you got to stick close to him. But if you follow him at a safe distance, it'll keep you safe. You like, if he goes somewhere you don't want to go, then
cool.
sweet, not going there. That doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
That turn. But you'll be distant from him. And I just think that you, Ryan, have modeled, man, just tailgating Jesus, and staying really close to him. And I love that word of, just there's some encouragement there that you have lived that in a really cool way. I was thinking Deuteronomy 1 is another promise, I guess, a precious promise where I think it's 127, 28, somewhere in there. And this was one that came to me during all of our failed land endeavors. You guys have been there for every one of those, right? We got land. First we took this big offering and it was, the exact amount for a piece of property over here by Menards. And that was like, oh, that fell through. And then we got land over by Tyson's in Coralville. And it was like, yay, we showed a video and we played that Philip Phillips song, like home, we're home, and this is our home. And we showed the video and everybody cheered. And then we had to come up, a couple months later and be like, well, actually, remember that? Yeah, that's not our land. And just this, the whole, but in there, Deuteronomy 1 is what I read. And it says, do not be terrified. Do not be afraid. For the Lord your God is going before you and he will fight for you. He said, you saw how the Lord your God carried you. He says, you saw with your own eyes how the Lord your God carried you as a father carries his son all the way through the wilderness to this very point. And just that call to, I mean, what a crazy thought. God speaking to them that like, you can't be afraid. You've seen how I've carried you all this way as a father carries his son. And so don't be afraid. Don't be terrified. And I felt that for the whole land fails and having to, getting up. And I remember the January where we thought we had this building over here by your place, Jeff, down the road, that wasn't old Menards. Now it's whatever. And we thought we had it. And it was like, well, church, I remember it was a January because we got up and we're just like, well, here's our strategy. We're just going to do some fasting and prayer over the next 3 weeks. So just pick a day and fast, and we're just going to see God. Because once again, we've run into a dead end. So I just wonder, like for you, as you step into this, just to, that you feel that like God's faithfulness, and because you have experienced some bummer things, even just like, well, you're waiting for your house to sell right now, and just different things where it's like you're waiting, and in the midst of the bummer things, like there's some cool provisions, like he's giving you a place, but then there's this, and I feel like that's kind of, how it's been, and but through it all, God is carrying you. So, well, Ryan, I wondered what you're like. If you were to, I need some good content for the average church book. And I was kind of wondering, what are some hallmarks or things that you have learned in your time here? Like, what would some of those chapters be if you're looking back at an average church and you're saying, well, you definitely got to have these chapters in there, based on just your experience of your time here, and even kind of what you think about what you want Veritas Santa Barbara to be. What are some chapters in the average church book?
Man. Well, it is funny you talking about all those failed building plans. It's funny how many people ask us if we have a building. Even a guy yesterday was like, "Oh, so did you buy land? Did you start building your church yet?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, maybe never. We'll see how that plays out." But I do remember when the first bummer, if you will, You have to frame in the bummers. Like you
Mm.
have to like be more specific with it, because it's like, okay, the first building offering you took became Veritas Cedar Rapids. I think, at least that's how young me
Yes.
saw it. I mean, when I was sitting in the crowd at the Sheraton and you said, hey, we're going to take our vision fund and we're going to instead plant a church because God's bringing people from Cedar Rapids and we want to reach their neighbors. That was one of the most shaping moments for me, I think, as a member of Veritas. As a young guy, I was like, man, how cool. We're staying in not even our first choice hotel. This is like option 2 or 3 for us on a Sunday morning. And we would rather like follow the Lord into that and give up all of the people who are actually paying the bills here. And just things that don't make sense like that. I think there's just such a faith element there that God rewards just with his smile more than not like back to the prosperity gospel. Here we go. But no, like really just like you'll be close to him.
Yeah.
And it might be jarring at times because of the quick turns, but you're close to him and that's worth it. So I do think of that moment a lot of the twists and turns of the building here.
The context of that is we were 2 years old as a church, and we did an elder retreat. A bunch of people, our church is in Iowa City. It's directed toward reaching students at the University of Iowa. We got a ton of college students, and the community people, we had some from the Iowa City community, but most of our community people were driving down from Cedar Rapids. We had about 80 people that were coming down. Cedar Rapids is a town about 30 minutes north of us. And they were all coming to Veritas because it was like show and tell. Like, look at this church with all these college students. This is crazy. Well, all those 80 people had jobs. Like, people come to Iowa City to go to school. People go to Cedar Rapids to get a real job. And so all these people our budget like was growing. We had our elder retreat, like fasting and prayer, just like we have a retreat tomorrow. And we were going into, I remember we're sitting around and we just sort of like, we're going to prayer walk Cedar Rapids. And I was walking through one of the malls, we're prayer walking and just sitting like Cedar Rapids. That's fascinating. And we just felt like the Lord was, because we desperately needed land in a church, like a physical church, because we're meeting in hotels, we're getting kicked out of hotels, we're like the Israelites. But we felt like, you know what? God is calling us to plant a church in Cedar Rapids. So our whole budget increase was like our budget was at that time $500,000. We're like, we're going to increase it to 100. We're going to increase it to 750. And that difference is all Cedar Rapids or a big portion of it. And yeah, so we did it. And I think that's what you're talking about is that at a time, it's like the most counterintuitive thing to do, but we just all as an elder team felt like that's more exciting, planning a church than getting a building, And Cedar Rapids ended up getting a building years before us.
Well, I feel like that was a moment where when we talk about like casting vision to a church, where sometimes it's like get the idea in mind that you have, and then how do you cast vision for like, this is why we're going in this direction. And in that sense, it would made sense to like, pitch it for the building. But you've talked about vision being different, of like an awareness of what the Lord's doing, being attentive to that and going in that direction. I feel like there's been so many different times where even right now, does it make sense to send Ryan while we're building a building and sending missionaries? There's all these things that are happening, but it's things that we've seen the Lord do that stepping into it.
Yeah. Yeah. So planning a church.
Yeah. I love where we're going to, in the sense of just the demographics of campus being kind of gnarly and kind of secluded, while the town has even a different look to it than the campus. Like campus is kind of like ghetto by the sea, rundown surfboards everywhere, and just packed at 2 students to every bedroom, But then the look of Santa Barbara is the American Riviera. It looks like San Sebastian, Spain. It's gorgeous, white stucco, red roof, everything. Celebrities. The blessing of Veritas has been the collision of those two worlds. Now we don't have quite maybe the extreme of both those, but we do have those for 2 different worlds in one. And the blessing I've received here on being, now I'm an older guy. I'm old to the college students, but I was once young as a college student. And so to be blessed on either end of that, I think I understand how cool that would be for God to do that again in Veritas Santa Barbara. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's one of our prayers. It's just that he would collide the community side and the college side in a counterintuitive way that doesn't make sense.
Do you think, so with your focus on reaching students in Isla Vista, UC Santa Barbara, how do you, I guess, because this is a challenge in the SALT network churches where it's like we got big college ministries and then little on the community side. So it's hard for a church to bear the weight of all those students, the financial weight practically, how do you see that? What's kind of your heart or going into that? I don't know. Is it?
Yeah. I mean, I like how you said, you didn't ask what's your plan going in. Cause I mean, what's your heart is probably the plan. Like it's kind of one of those advantage of average things. If you're kind of too dumb to know it won't work,
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. Is it the Walt Disney quote? Some of the greatest feats in the world were accomplished by people not smart enough to know they were impossible.
Perfect.
Wow.
There never was much hope, but a fool's hope.
I love that.
Oh, you got to talk about that. Riff on that one. What is that? The reference to?
Well, yeah, we watched Lord of the Rings last week. Drake and I and Ellie, it's her first time. She thought it was okay. We're still working on that. That's a whole nother. We're gonna need a whole nother podcast episode for that. But no, it's kind of like it's the average pastor's church planting movie. Just watching Lord of the Rings through this lens is crazy. It makes you feel like you can actually do this thing. But this quote from Return of the King, where Pippin says to Gandalf, "Tell me," he said, "is there any hope?" For Frodo, I mean, or at least mostly for Frodo. Gandalf put his hand on Pippin's head. "There never was much hope," he answered. "Just a fool's hope, as I have been told." I love that.
So can you explain that for
why
people why that resonate? What is a fool's hope? What's maybe some context to someone who
upside down kingdom thinking of just, I have been told more probably by Christians even in the past year, or made to feel that this is not going to work, that this is a bad idea, and that there is no hope. But I've never been told that by Jesus, it felt like. I feel like there is hope, but it's only a fool in Christ's hope is what it feels like.
Wow.
Where it's like, if he doesn't show up, you're the conundrum of community side and college students. You can't pay. Well, we couldn't pay for this church even if we only went after community side.
Yeah.
It's too expensive even if we ditch the college students. So why not just go after the college students too? It's just so stuff like that. I don't know. It's just there is a fool's hope.
I was laughing the other day because we're going to be going out to see you guys at the end of May and Grant's wedding and everything. Well, then I was looking for hotels, to stay after the wedding and stuff. And I'm like, whoa, Santa Barbara. Well, if you go here's what's crazy. I found this hotel, cool, like coastal on the cliffs hotel in Pismo Beach, which Pismo Beach is no, slum, right? It's a beautiful. It's like half the cost of Santa Barbara. I'm like, what is it about Santa Barbara that just holds on to such outrageous prices of whether it's hotel resort living or apartment house living or whatever? It's such a unique, even what I'm saying is even by Southern California standards,
I know
you can go to Pismo Beach and live for cheaper than Santa Barbara.
We're saying is
pile it on.
What we're saying, Ryan, is we don't know if the Anakites are there.
Yes, there you go. That's
we don't know. We're
It seriously was why I was laughing as I'm just trying to find this hotel. I'm like, I kind of love that that's where Ryan and the team are going. Like, put it on, a chart, put it on a pro con list, whatever. Bad idea. And I'm like, for sure, that's where we're going.
That's awesome. James, we need more James in the conversation. What's your thoughts on the fool's hope thing in the context of this? Like impossible adventure. Of course it was. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh yeah, 1 Corinthians 1. I mean, just the word of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing. Like, it's always been a fool's hope.
Wow.
The gospel has always sounded like foolishness to the world. And even later on in 1 Corinthians 4, this is going back to even what you were talking about, sophists and philosophers, but just for the kingdom of God is not a matter of talk, but of power. Like,
That's
as
good.
thinking about like the sermons you preach, the sermons you're self-conscious about, it's never been a matter of how well you say something. It's the power
That's good.
of the gospel. And so,
Do you know what? Speaking of the power of the gospel, and one more little Lord of the Rings thing to throw in there from watching it last time. Watched it with our boy Pete Keegan, and who seems to know everything about everything.
And truly does.
doesn't
He's
hold
not
it
one of
over
those
us.
guys that
Yeah.
pretends like he does. He actually knows.
He has
everything
this
about
idea
everything.
that I don't know if it's actually from his reading of the book. Like, I don't know if it's explicit from Tolkien or if it's just Peter's insight, but I've never seen it before. The eagles come and grab Sam and Frodo and take them away from the lava of Mount Doom that's about to consume them. And there's a third eagle for Gollum.
oh, interesting.
Gandalf's thing with Gollum. What's it always from the very first movie on is he pities him
Yeah.
and he has hope for him.
Wow.
And
Dude, no way.
does that like choke you up a little bit?
Yes.
Just the thought of all the way to the very end of the ring being destroyed, he had hope for Gollum. And he sent a third eagle.
Word.
No.
Because if you see it, you're like, wait, there was an
Right.
extra eagle, wasn't there? You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
And so whether or
that's
not that's
nuts.
Tolkien, maybe Tolkien's like, oh yeah, wait, good idea. But Pete, good idea, Pete.
That's so interesting. Wow.
So do
Well,
with that. There's a metaphor.
Hold
for,
out a fool's hope.
right
Well,
for people,
Mhm.
not just that
Yes.
we will succeed and pay rent. Like that's a really low goal.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna
yeah.
do our best to avoid traffic on the 101 and pay ungodly amounts of rent. Okay, if those are our goals, then
That's
what's
not-
the point?
You're not
that's
actually going to Mordor.
That's a small ice hole. Like we're
Yeah.
Yeah.
our ice hole is much.
You're going to
bigger than
redeem that thing one way or another,
that's-
man.
Oh man.
No, I was actually thinking when you guys were talking about the fool thing, I guess just the thesaurus of my head or whatever was thinking of Jim Elliot, where he says, he is no fool who gives up what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose. Well, he said that as he was preparing to do the most foolish thing in the world of going to Ecuador to this kind of crazed people that don't let anybody survive that finds them because they want to stay so remote and protected and would end up giving his life. You know what I mean? Back to Luke 14, like Jim Elliot, Nate Saint, Pete, they all literally gave up their lives.
Mhm.
And he said prematurely, oh, I'm no fool to give up what I can't keep. Whether I die with a spear in my back in this river in Ecuador, or as an 80-year-old man in the suburbs of Chicago, I can't keep my... So I'm no fool. This looks to the world like the most foolish adventure. And I'm gaining what I can never lose. You know what I mean? So, I mean, just...
Face like float. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taunting death,
Yeah.
but it's taunting. It's like taunting the enemy's grip in a city. That Paul, when he says in Romans 1:16, for I am eager to preach the gospel to you also who are in Rome, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God for salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew and also to the Greek. It's the gospel is the power of God to save people, and you just are going and you're announcing the fool's message.
Yep.
And people respond by faith. And aren't you always surprised when you share the gospel with someone? They're like, I think I want to give my life to Jesus. You're
Right.
like, are you sure about that? Really?
Yeah.
You really want to do that?
Oh.
It's like our hope in preaching is both Jeremiah 1, which is, God, if you put your words in my mouth, this will be worth it. Like
Yeah.
you touch my mouth, but your words in my mouth. And then it's just the simple truth after that of, and my sheep will hear my voice and they'll know who I am.
Wow. Wow.
And so there's the deconstruction of amazing preaching, I think.
Can you read that Jeremiah passage?
Yeah.
That's, I feel like that's one of yours.
The word of the Lord came to me. I chose you before I formed you in the womb. I set you apart before you were born. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. But I protested. Oh no, Lord God. Look, I don't know how to speak since I'm only a youth. Then the Lord said to me, do not say I'm only a youth, for you will go to everyone I send you to and speak whatever I tell you. Do not be afraid of anyone, for I will be with you to rescue you. This is the Lord's declaration. Then the Lord reached out his hand, touched my mouth, and told me, I have now filled your mouth with my words. See, I've appointed you today over nations and kingdoms, to uproot and tear down, to destroy and demolish, to build and plant.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
What sticks out to you there?
So much. Well, I think if I formed you in the womb and I just think of my son and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what God has for him. That's going to be fun. That'll be cool to be able to watch that happen.
Ryan, this is crazy. I mean, thinking about if we just rewind the tape to 3 years ago and just like the years of you were, I mean, going through your 20s single and going to your 30th birthday party and still single, and just the conversations, your desire to go to California, but just waiting and yeah, wondering, am I just all the insecurities of thoughts of like, well, what's wrong with me? Like all my friends are getting married and having kids. What am I doing? And waiting and like even you saying that right now, I'm like, that is so crazy. God's faithfulness. And I mean, you've walked with Ryan through that, and isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's so wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seeing you wrestle in the waiting, seeing you continue to persevere and hope that the Lord had planned, and seeing just how the Lord showed up, and I think that's, even as you think about going out to California, I think what I've seen in you, Ryan, even as you think about California, is your heart has always been, man, I've been so blessed by what's happened in Iowa City. I want that to happen somewhere else. And so the interesting thing for me, as you were like, even, okay, then getting married, seeing the Lord show up with Ellie in just the most perfect way. And as you were processing, like, okay, am I going to do this? Everyone started to give you their pitch for why you should stay. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, no, stop doing that. That's like a pitch for why he should go, like.
Yeah, you were the one pitching to stay.
Well, yeah, I had to try.
Yeah.
But when you came to your senses.
Twisted things.
Totally. But like, as people are saying, like, look what God's done here. See it. Like, look at what's happened, how he's blessed, I would say, in the friendships and all this stuff. I'm just like, that's just like stirring in his mind of like, I got to see that somewhere else too. And so it's just been wild to see even him show up with things like marriage and now a son and now going out. And it's just like, what's going to happen?
Dude, when you just said that about your son, we were at my oldest son's house a couple of weeks ago, and I'd forgotten about this picture that Teresa must have taken it. But when we were in California, we're on a beach. It wasn't Santa Barbara. It was probably like Santa Onofre or Carpinteria, one of the public beaches. Anyway, but I'm sitting on the sand looking out into the ocean, and Seth has come up behind me, and he's got his hands on my shoulders because you can tell he's kind of afraid of the ocean. So he's kind of protective behind me, and he's got his little tie-dyed shirt on and flow hose. I mean, he's the total Southern California little boy, and he's got his hands on my shoulders, and we're both just kind of looking off, and Teresa snapped it. So then my mom and dad made it kind of poster size, and my dad made this walnut frame for it. And I had totally forgotten about it. And we just left it at Seth's house. But just that idea, like you're taking your son on this adventure. And for him too, there's going to be times it's scary and he's kind of hiding behind you a little bit. But there you are, kind of both looking into the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was so much wrapped up in that because at that point, we didn't know where our next meal was going to come from. I mean, literally how we were going to pay rent for the next few months. Like there were so many ways that we're looking in the distance for help. You know what I mean? But also, man, where's this taking us? You know? So I just can't wait. Yeah. That image of you with your son though, I thought, dude, that's right. And those times that I remember being like, what have I done? I can't even afford rent. And now I've got my children and it just seems so foolish on so many levels. Those times of just trying my faith to the thinnest point and just falling on my knees and be like, Lord, you led me here.
It's like the cool thing about that picture is there's like 3 fathers in the picture.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
There's like Seth is looking to you and like it's between you and the ocean. I mean, the ocean representing that unknown, wild, scary waves crashing in and he's behind you, like I'm with my dad, and then you're looking at your heavenly.
I've got my hands,
you got your hands on the Lord, like
hiding behind.
Like
that's
Lord,
so true.
And underneath are the everlasting arms,
Amen.
right?
And Amen.
I just have to say this about Ryan, just about Ellie, you struck gold. Ellie is such an incredible just partner. And one thing I would want you to know is that you already have succeeded. Like it doesn't matter what happens in California. You already have the best gift. Like Ellie and Bodie and those treasures are far greater than any ministry success or anything that will happen. And I think in that I would encourage you, just a word of encouragement from Luke 10:20. The disciples come back and where this is going. Jesus is like, so how'd it go? And they're like, the demons submitted to us. It was amazing. We had all this success and dude, we saw demons cast out and they submitted to us. And Jesus is like, don't rejoice that the demons submitted to you. Rejoice in this. Your names are written in heaven. And I think that was him teaching his disciples that you can get so caught up in the awe of success, and it can become about the ministry and how well we're doing and we're killing it. And that was a monster sermon. And that was, look how big our thing is and look at all that. And Jesus is like, don't rejoice in that, which is a weird thing to say. Like, don't rejoice that people got healed and churches were planted. And he's like, no, rejoice that your name is written in heaven. And I think about, rejoice, your name is written in heaven. But I was kind of thinking in that, like all the other things that aren't ministry successes that are far greater than anything you'll experience. It's always going to be Ellie. It's always going to be, your family. And I don't know. I think I'm just in awe of watching Ellie, raise Bodie. I'm just like, she's such a boss. She's such a great mom. Man, what an incredible thing God has done.
Yeah.
Here's something I want to say about Ryan. This was a quote that popped into my head that might be stupid or it might be profound, but if love is like gravity, Ryan, you are a black hole.
Wow. Yes.
I mean,
that is profound.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
It's so profound you should explain it.
Yeah. So here's the thought process. I'm just like, well, I was thinking about, Mark, your picture of like the Lego bricks and like you need a big plate. Like Ryan, you are the plate that relationships are built on. But I'm just thinking about Audrey and I's experience of moving to Iowa City 5 years ago, not having any community. And, that just people aren't attracted to each other. Like gravity, it attracts. There's mass that attracts. And, an object flying through space, if it flies next to a planet, a meteor will kind of go into orbit around it. You've got this gravitational pull that if anybody even comes if anybody brushes past you, you get sucked in. There's the event horizon that you just get okay, wow. Okay, so we're hanging out now, I guess. I don't even know how this happened, but right when we met, somehow we made some connect. I think it was oh, you like Arrested Development? I'm coming over. We're going to watch episodes. And then somehow we started playing my Xbox and discovered that we both liked NBA Street Volume 2 on the original Xbox.
Come on.
And so we played that. I don't know how it happened, but I just got sucked in.
I know exactly how that
Audrey and I were sucked in. I mean, that's just what you do. You pull people in and create this this community. And I'm just that's exactly what's going to happen in Santa Barbara. And I can't wait to see
That's good.
how it goes. So,
well, I can't even get my own wife to watch Arrested Development, so careful. Slow your horses.
everyone's got their own thing, but
Yeah.
Thanks for being such a massive black hole.
I love the spin on that because usually black hole is not a positive description because you're not orbiting it. You just become part of it. You're there.
Yeah.
I think Ryan, I'm so I'm having FOMO because I would want you to be my pastor. I would want to go to Santa Barbara, not to pastor the church, but just to be a part of it. Because I'm is anyone gonna have more fun? Is anyone gonna? It's like when you, and this will live in infamy, your first retreat that you took, there were 4 students that went on this. I think Cornerstone was having a big retreat,
It was
and you took
10.
Okay, you took 10 students, and you came back, and I was like, "How was it?" And you were like, "We were small, but we were mighty."
We were also arrogant, and we flew that Jolly Roger flag out of our window in our van. It was
oh yeah,
maybe not arrogant, but we were annoying.
Well, it's a party is rolling in. You know what I mean? The party has arrived in that and so I think that your gift is that it's that you create. It's if you want it to be there, you got to bring it. What is it that you bring? I think you just bring the friendship and the fun and there's always room for another person.
Yeah.
And there's always your capacity to just pull people in. And I think, dude, what I mean, and the possibilities in Santa Barbara are just even greater. It's year-round fun. You guys somehow you got me into ice hockey. I don't know how that happened, but I'm that's an example of the black hole.
Got pulled in.
What am I doing? Skating around on hockey, it's 20 degrees below, and I'm looking forward to that because the pond is going to freeze.
That was just a coping mechanism for all of us who hate winter.
Right.
Had to have fun.
But now it's
From the worst thing into the best thing.
Now you'll have beaches and
I just sold. Yeah, I got rid of all
and-
my hockey stuff. Sad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the hardest. Just kidding. That was an easy one. You guys, thank you for all the kind words, and I'm glad. I'm glad this is being recorded, not for other people, but for me, and so I can have this. But as Connor Glenn said the other day, we're all in the Grey Havens now, which is another, allusion to Lord of the Rings, and just that final scene when they're sailing off to Valinor and the Undying Lands at the end of the earth, and it's not a funeral. It's just a parting of ways, a beginning of a new time. And Frodo gets on the boat, and they all just go. And Sam goes back home, and all of a sudden his little kids come out, and he's got a whole family, and that's for him.
Yeah.
And I think Connor can be profound every once in a while. I think that was one
Dude.
that's going to stick with me.
The Grey Havens, that's the
harbor that they. I'm also saying everything and keep looking at James to fact check me to make sure I'm not.
You're right on.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What can you say? What happens at their it's the kind of their goodbye, their place of
Yeah, at
what's
the
happening
end, so
there?
the elves are all heading to the west, Valinor, and at the end of the book, Bilbo is going to get on. Was Frodo was kind of a last second, like nobody knew he was
Right,
going.
right,
That was
right.
kind of a surprise that
Yeah.
Right.
Frodo.
So that'd be like if
Got on
we
the boat.
dropped this podcast to tell people that we were moving.
Who's going to be the Frodo that surprises you? And it's just
who's
like
gonna be the one that jumps in?
Drake's
I'm
just
on the
like,
edge
hey,
of
I'm
my
actually
seat.
staying.
Sunday.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's the end. They part
Mm-hmm.
ways, but it's as it should be.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's the moment that Gandalf says, "Not all tears are an evil."
Mm.
Like when Frodo's about to take off, and they're just like, "Yeah, tears are flowing," but he's like, "Hey, not all tears are an evil."
Mm.
As they're just feeling the weight of that moment.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
But the story keeps going. That's the
Totally.
beautiful thing. Like you talk about Samwise going back because now he has the book,
right,
and there's pages left for him because he has to finish now.
yeah,
Continue
it's part of this. Yeah,
continue the story,
Yeah.
and it's maybe one of the most epic, beautiful endings.
So we've got your commissioning this weekend at Veritas. So when this is released, that will have happened. But just going into that, I think we're all, just feeling that we're all kind of standing by the boat, and our church wants to get around you and just that to thrust you out with blessing as you and the others step on the boat.
Mhm.
And it's gonna be an emotional weekend.
Mhm.
You know, it's gonna be a tough 3 services to get through, but also very exciting as we just like, it's Acts 20. Paul Paul and the Ephesian elders, and it's at the end it says when we had torn ourselves away from them, they got on the boat and sailed off to Miletus.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hard thing about friendship. When you do, we talked about this in staff meeting. They say don't use family language. Like in most leadership things you'll go to, they'll tell you like, don't use family language for your organization, because you can't fire family, or I think about in these cases, like it's going to be so emotionally hard when you send off people you love like that. So if you want a safe distance from people, don't use family language. But when it is like you feel like brothers and sisters in Christ, it's becomes a tearing away.
Yeah.
And when you do brotherly love, when you love each other deeply from the heart, it feels that way. The adventure continues, and I think that one of the thoughts for me going into this weekend, Jeff, is as we go into our elder retreat, we're having some pretty like big conversations, meta conversations as we go into our new building. And one of the questions I have is, how do we stay connected to people we've sent? I'm thinking of, there's so many I could name that of people that you send that you love them, you want to stay connected to, you don't want them to be out of sight, out of mind, And so how do we do that well in the days to come? I guess closing, Ryan, do you have any, as our church is this fall going to step into a new auditorium, you have any just word of encouragement, exhortation to us as we step into new things?
Nope. Just kidding. I just keep returning to your first love before you're needing to be told to do that. Like you're already instructing me of love Jesus and love people, and don't let it get to that point in Revelation 2 where it's like, man, Veritas did a lot of great things, and you guys started off so strong, and you actually got a lot better at a lot of things. Your building got bigger, budgets got bigger, more people got saved, but there's just that one little thing. You need to return to that love you had at first, and I think it would just be a bummer to come back and just feel that. But here's the encouragement: it's impossible. It's just not going to happen. And I'm just gonna. I might be so annoying because it might feel like I never left, because I'm going to be in your ears so much and asking you a million questions a day. But yeah, just keep making room at the family table.
Amen.
Amen.
Jeff, do you have a closing word?
No, dude, actually, I was just sitting here basking in that, your long pensive pause before you drop that nugget. I was like, dude, that is a perfect blessing / exhortation to us. Don't lose your first love, because I want that to be the last word. I want that to ring in my heart as you go, as I think about this. Let's be the kind of home that it's always a blast to come back to, because we're still first love. Yeah. Well said.
This is a place that is, and when I say a place, I mean the people, but this is a place that is deeply committed to seeing God's kingdom on earth, while simultaneously the most terrified of success. And I think that is a recipe for beautiful things, where the reluctancy to, it almost felt like we didn't even want to build a building at times because we were afraid of losing the hotel in us. And the reluctancy to build the building bigger or to start any new ministry, not because we have like glory days mentality, but because success changes people, and oftentimes for the worse. And so you guys have just done a amazing job of just allowing that tension to exist of, we want everybody to be saved. We want everybody to have friends. We want discipleship just to be running like wild here, but also like, God have mercy on us as this success comes, that we don't lose our first love.
Is that kind of what you meant? You also had the phrase, you can take the church out of the hotel, but you can't take the hotel out of the church.
Yeah, I think that was more so born out of things are always going to be broken. Like, I don't think there was really a spiritual element to it. I think it became spiritual. Like, yes, remember,
did you make that up after you broke that TV?
Nope.
Hey, I've got a phrase for this.
The black hole took a big screen TV. It got in its orbit, and that was like week 1 of the new church. Why was I setting up TVs in the equipping room? Anyway, it started as, man, things will never work around here. Doors still don't work, but no, that was, it is like a funny reminder of, like, I just love the humility of you guys and the elders, and just people, like Shane said the other day, man, people really just don't complain here, do they? I thought that was a hilarious observation from Shane. Was just, I've never noticed people don't complain much here.
Yeah.
Because maybe they're still expecting a hotel, and everything after that is a sweet little surprise.
Well, yes, that's something that, it's going to be hard to ever be, as long as I'm leading, it's going to be hard to be amazing. This has been a good time to just enjoy just kind of putting the mics and reflecting on God's faithfulness and dream about the days to come and seeing you're stepping into something exciting. So last word I'll say, just don't forget the secret weapon. Don't forget the secret weapon. And if your house doesn't sell, like, don't make us do it. Don't make me use the weapon. You will force us to. And Psalm 27. Yet I remain confident of this. I will see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait for the Lord. Be strong, take heart, and wait for the Lord. So step into that, and can't wait to listen to this when it comes out and just laugh because your house is sold. Yeah. All right. Well, this is it was a different episode. Next time we've got a super exciting episode with Jake and Drew. Drew's going to be in town, and we're going to do a little podcast, a little Average Pastor podcast.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming down. Jake asked Jeff, Drew, and I to speak at a little conference that Cedar Rapids is doing. And Drew's gonna be down, so that'll be a good time recording with those guys. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Real quick, if you want to support Ryan and the Santa Barbara team, go to sbveritas.org. You can get more information and support them financially, prayer, and maybe just move to Santa Barbara and be part of the church.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Spread the word.
If you've made it this far into the podcast, just go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
It's been a great time. Thanks for being here. And if you're still listening, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the conversation, maybe found something encouraging to spur you on in your faith this week. So until next time, see ya.